We've got this lady right here, Michelle Malone, and her band, along with Will Kimbrough, playing town. And Michelle, of course, no stranger to Knoxville, I guess, right? Correct.
I'm practically
I mean, you're a Tennessee resident now, so you're halfway
Shoot,
there.
I'm just up the road.
Yeah, you are.
I think I've been coming to Knoxville almost as longer than any other city I've been playing. I think we started coming here many moons ago.
Yeah, we won't
to play Planet Earth.
We were talking off mic a little bit about that. We won't date ourselves, all of us here, but yeah, we had some good times in the old city a few years back, thanks to Chuck Burnley and the good people at Planet Earth and the band Drag the River, of course, back in the day. And Knoxville's all the better because you do come back quite often, and we do appreciate it. And we're glad you're back, not only here at 90.3 The Rock right now, but at the World Grotto tonight. Again, I think 9 o'clock is when it all goes down. Will Kimbrough, a fellow Nashville resident of yours, I guess, is going to be playing. And Will, last time he was through and on the station, was here with Rodney Crowell. He's one of Rodney's hired hands from time to time. But, Michelle, before we go any further, just so they don't kick you and me both out, you better go ahead and introduce everybody else in this huge percussion ensemble that you have brought to us today at WUTK.
Phil Skipper's still playing bass with me. Orange Philly.
All right.
He was in Drag the River with me, and he and I both got arrested on the roof of Planet Earth back in the late 80s.
You too.
Then Trish Land is playing shakery things.
Hey,
She's
Trish.
a shaker and a mover.
And a movie, yeah.
And Dave Anthony is our drummer, and he's playing basically the top of a snare drum.
Right. And doing it quite well, I might add, too.
Looks like a full moon.
And so this is your band, Full Room, Full Moon. This is your band tonight, too, right?
It's always my band.
Cool.
Today, tonight, tomorrow.
Well, one of the cool things about having you in studio is we've got the very first musician that we've ever had grace our microphones, if you will, that was given a nickname by Albert King. I mean, that's got to be kind of cool. Tell us a story about that. What was the deal with that? Or at least that's what the press says. So.
I was playing a club in Atlanta that's been there for many years called the Royal Peacock, and it was down on, was it Austin Avenue? Anyway, Auburn Avenue in downtown Atlanta, and the club's, James Brown played there back in his heyday when Jimi Hendrix was in the band.
Right.
Everyone toured through there. It was on the other side of the tracks. It was that kind of club. And then they kind of reopened with some new ownership in the I guess the late 80s or so, and started letting the young ratty upstart kids play in there. So I got to open for Albert King there, and
cool. So
he I reckon just, I don't know if he heard me singing or just heard me
moaning,
bitching and moaning, but or both. I was not a very happy individual back then, but it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of stories and a lot of history coming out of that place, and I think it ended up burning down.
Wow. So I guess, was it on the old Chitlin circuit, I guess they called it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Wow. Cool stuff.
It was really an historical venue.
Yeah.
And I don't think they rebuilt it when they burned it down.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, so there you go. I don't know what I was going to say.
Right, we were talking about Albert King and dubbing you the nickname that he gave you, Moanin' Malone, which that's just kind of got to be cool. I mean, to not only be noticed, if you will, by a legend like that, but also for him to put a moniker on you, if you will, too, because apparently he did take notice. So that's cool stuff.
Well, I've had a lot of other nicknames, but
we'll stick with that one right now. We'll stick with that one for FCC purposes and other things. For kids listening, school is out, so they're probably listening out there too. Well,
we could call Chuck up from Planet Earth. I bet
sure
he's got a
could.
few for me.
I would say he does, especially after the night you got arrested up there on the top of Planet Earth.
Y'all just shouldn't sell that many fireworks here.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean, but there's a lot of fireworks going on inside and outside Planet Earth.
Hey, that reminds me very little of the time that we came up here to play Planet Earth, and before we went on, we were walking around the town down there and
city.
Stumbled into this little tiny club, and John Lee Hooker was playing, and there was only maybe 40 people in there. It was right next to Planet Earth, and we just walked in, and there he was, and we got to catch most of his set before we went back to play our gig, but I'll never forget that. And are you familiar with a group out of here called Blue Mother Tupelo?
Oh, yeah, Ricky and McCall, yeah.
Yeah. They're
very cool.
Good friends of ours, and we got to talking one day about that, and they were at the same show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, many years before we met, but
very cool.
Oh, yeah, Ricky and Mike were both there. They didn't know each other, and we were all there, and we didn't know them either, so.
And look at them now.
And look at us all just tighter than ticks.
That's cool. Yeah, that was Ella Garou's, and an amazing club that Ashley Capps had going. And look at him now, man. I'm telling you what, it's great to see the success that he's had. Great to see the success you've had in this record, Sugarfoot, which I'm going to tell you, if you just Google it or do whatever on the old computer thing, it's amazing. Getting a lot of accolades, a lot of great pub, a lot of great things written about it and about you, and a couple of biography quotes here that I like. And you always can depend on Playboy to give you some good quotes. But the rough and tumble Malone embraces our inner Keith Richards while churning up those southern roots with the vigor of Lucinda Williams. And then Rolling Stone, of course, they're pretty qualified to give out quotes on musicians. Raucous and jubilant, somewhere between Lucinda Williams and Shelby Lynn, comes Michelle Malone, alternating between soulful ballads and rowdy, riffy blasters. So there you have it. So you've moved a little bit away from the Drag the River days and the Planet Earth days, and you move more toward this kind of bluesier stuff like you do on the new CD, Sugarfoot. So before we talk anymore, can we get an example of that?
Please.
Why don't you go ahead and play one live, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about it. What you going to do?
This is called Lafayette.
Cool. This is Michelle Malone live on 90.3 The Rock and on UTTV, The Rock Unplugged.
Well, the French Broad River runs long and deep down from the Black Mountain snow. Every time that I get downhearted, that's where my mind will go. Running deep and slow like I'm rocking away in your loving arm. You can sweet talk me when you do your duty, but don't you do no harm. Singing Lafayette, don't you make me beg. Si vous plaît, I'll be your rocking chair, I'll be your guitar, play me. Baby, let me follow you down to the river and drink. I have traveled all around the world, from Amsterdam to Asheville. I never thought that I'd give up my freedom till I got tied down in the Delta. No to the devil, but it paid no mind. Hallelujah, honey, you're the loving kind. If I
Yeah.
Great stuff. Live in studio and on UTTV, The Rock Unplugged. That is Malone and Michelle Malone and her band, the fabulousest percussion section we've ever had here at 90.3 The Rock. And again, Michelle Malone live at World Grotto this evening. If you want to get out and see her and the whole band, I'm sure a bit more plugged in than we are here today. Opening up, I think, Will Kimbrough out of Nashville, Tennessee. Fine singer, songwriter, guitar player himself. And going to be a real cool show down there at World Grotto tonight, which, by the way, is a non-smoking venue, the only one in town, and which is very cool. So, yeah. So if you want to get out and check that out, that is happening down there on Market Square tonight. Michelle, of course, born in the ATL down there in Atlanta, I guess.
I thought you were going to say
area.
born in the 1800s.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, yeah, maybe.
We may be old enough to say we're on the guest list of Planet Earth, but we're not that old. So, but of course, you grew up in a very musical family. Your mom and your grandmother, basically being professional singers, and you got up in church, I guess, at the age of 4 and started singing, and then started doing some songwriting stuff at 12, and from there, I think the saxophone, the drums, the guitar.
You know more about me than I do.
I know a lot of people in Atlanta.
You've been talking to my mother.
I know a lot of people in Atlanta. Let's put it that. And now Nashville, too, so you better watch out. So, and then you went and did the college thing and did the vocals and whatnot. I mean, that's a lot of things coming from a lot of different directions that could influence you musically.
Yeah,
who were you listening to growing up? I mean,
everybody.
Yeah.
Because, my family played all kinds of music.
Apparently.
I mean, I heard the blues and jazz and opera and my parents had everything from Billie Holiday to Led Zeppelin. They pretty well screwed me up.
Yeah. In a good way, though.
In a really great way. It's great to have all that, but it's taken me a really long time to figure out what I really, excel at.
Right.
Because I write many different genres and can sing opera or blues or jazz or rock.
Or in a church.
Or a church. So, it's really taken a while for me to kind of settle into this sort of thing. And it's more of a roots Americana thing that I do, I think, because honestly, it's just more down home. It feels very easy and comfortable to me.
I was going to get to that. I mean, I remember the Drag the River days, a little bit more rocked out, and then of course
Well, I was a lot more angry then too.
Yeah, exactly, and we're all a bit younger.
I was so mad, my hair curled up.
Shooting off fireworks from the roofs of buildings, and it go from there to you did some time.
Well, I didn't get convicted.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's the power of Chuck Burnley. But
they took me in for questioning, but
is that a sparkler in your pocket? But then you've also done a lot of work and considered, kind of one of the Indigo girls there for some time.
We kind of grew up together in Atlanta and started playing the same clubs and writing together and recording together and touring together for many years. So,
right.
I went to summer camp with Larry Ray, Amy's little brother, before I even knew Amy or Emily. It was just a community thing.
Right.
It's kind of funny. So, and that's how Atlanta is. It's a little big city.
Right,
and, a lot of us came up together and felt like family. Wasn't that right, Phil?
Yeah, we were sitting naming off bands from Atlanta from back in the day a little earlier, and I'm sure you could
go sit in with each other and
kind
of hang out together, and it was a small little
very cool
in a big city. Yeah.
Well, and now you're doing, like you said, what you're doing more of an Americana, rootsier thing. I mean, do you feel like this whole thing has evolved, transformed to where you are now, and do you feel like this is where you're comfortable with it? This is what you want to do, from now till whenever you lay that guitar down and say, I'm done.
I've learned